Today I'm going to walk you through how to replace a BMS on a carbon Hadean battery. So first things first, we've removed the battery from the board. So pretty straightforward process on this one. All you need is a Phillips head screwdriver. So the BMS is held into the battery PCB by 4 screws. These are covered by some silicone goop. You don't really need to remove the silicone goop to remove those screws. You can just punch the screwdriver through it. So we'll just remove each of those screws one at a time, being careful not to strip them because they are held in with Loctite. So once we've got those screws removed, we want to lift the BMS up off the PCB. Now as we do this, we want to be careful to make sure we lift the BMS up straight because there is pins that run through it down into the PCB of the battery. If you lift it on an angle, you can damage them. I like to get my fingers on diagonal corners and slowly wiggle it until it releases. Then straight up out of the board. So now to reinstall the BMS, we've got our new BMS here. We want to line up the header pins with the header pins on the PCB. You've got the cutout for the main connector, so that indicates the orientation in which it goes. So carefully placing it in, ensuring all the pins are lined up. You can look at the screw holes as a bit of a guide for how to line it up. Once it's sitting there, just pushing straight down onto it to drive it home. You want to reinstall the 4 screws to secure it. Want to make sure those screws are sufficiently tight because these posts do carry voltage. Okay, now we've got the BMS reinstalled. We just want to check and make sure it's turning on as it should. Now because there's no motor controller installed on the battery, we're not going to get any lights to indicate that the battery is turning on. There is a small LED underneath the BMS which will come on when you turn the battery switch on. So it helps cover it with your hand so you can sort of see it. It is quite hard to see, but you'll see the light shining out from underneath here. So that one's switching on, indicating the BMS is switching as it should. That's how you replace the BMS on a carbon Hadean battery.